am back with another video. This is Life After Lockup Season 2 Episode 41. Okay, so this episode basically starts off with Angela. She's sitting out on her porch. This is the Angela and Tony couple. Angela is the citizen civilian, and Tony is the I don't want to say criminal he is. Anyways, so she's sitting outside and her sister comes up and she's talking to her and she's telling her about the situation with Tony and what happened with the phone, with her going through his phone and everything like that. And her sister asks her, you know, what is she going to do? And she says she's done, but her sister doesn't really think she's done. Her sister thinks that she still wants to be with Tony, and I get it to a certain extent. When you love someone, you love someone, no matter what they've done to you, no matter who they are. When you love them, and you just want to believe the best in that person. But at the same time, at a certain time, you have to get some skin on your head and be like, no, this is it. I'm not doing this anymore. And like I said before, I think Tony is basically there because he's desperate. Because he needs somewhere to stay, because that's his address that he gave his parole, that when he went on parole. So we'll see. Her sister tells her, you know, that he used her, and then she told her sister about the proposal. Her sister was not too happy to hear about that proposal, you know, and she just basically said that her sister was not being smart about the whole Tony situation. So basically, her sister just doesn't like Tony and doesn't think that she should be with Tony, but she thinks that her sister is still gonna take Tony back. But we'll see what Angela decides to do. Okay, now let's move over to Marcelano and Brittany. Brittany wants to talk to Marcelano, and she's talking to Marcelano because she basically wants him to get a job. So Marcelano is a professional gambler, and I guess where they're going with this, where he's trying to go with this, is because there are some people that play poker and they're successful at it. But like he says, sometimes you have highs, sometimes you have lows, so you have to be careful with the gambling. So Brittany is telling him that it's not guaranteed, and he's like, so, and she was telling him about the lawyer bill. So he's like, so you're telling me I have to get a job because I have to pay a bill that I didn't create? And I'm like, dude, even if you didn't have that bill, that lawyer bill, that $30,000 lawyer bill, okay, you still have another child on the way. So either way, you need to get a job. Like, you're 43, I think. Like, why don't you want a job? I don't get it. Like, I don't understand. Like, I've been working since I was like 16, 17. Always had a job. It was like a 6-month period where I didn't have a job, and that's because I moved away and I couldn't find a job where I moved to. But I always wanted a job to make sure that I could take care of myself. And he doesn't want a job. I guess he feels like this money from poker can sustain them, but I'm like, how can it sustain you when you have bills piling up and you have a child on the way? Like, where's your mind? Where's your thinking? What are you thinking? Like, come on. But whatever. He's saying he's been providing, so why change it? So he basically, you know, just doesn't want to get a job. He's just making excuses, and I'm like, how is Brittany the ex criminal, and you were in the Marines, and you have this and you have that, and she seems like she has more sense than you do at this point. I don't get it. Moving on to Andrea and Lamar. Andrea and Lamar. Lamar is in a in-home studio, and I'm just thinking to myself, why is this man 43 is still trying to rap. Why? Now, I don't know what else he does, and not my business, but, well, they put us in their business, kind of. But I just feel like that's something like you should be focused on your family. You should be focused on trying to find a job. There are places out here that will hire ex-cons. There are other things you can do. And instead of you trying to, be with your wife and your kid, and you rather be out in LA doing whatever and rapping. But I digress. So, he's talking to his friend, which I think they said it was his brother. I thought it was his friend, but I think it was his brother. Later on they said it was his brother. And he's telling her, he's saying why Andrea doesn't want to move to LA, and he says that he's basically not budging on moving to Utah. So he says that either she's gonna come out here or they're not gonna be together. And she basically said the same thing. Either he's gonna come to Utah or they're not going to be together. So don't know what's gonna happen with that because neither one of them are willing to budge. He says he's gonna go visit Andrea, and in that time for him to go visit Andrea, he just basically is trying to convince her to move to LA. So he FaceTimes her and he tells her, I miss you, I want to see you, I'm gonna come out there to you and the kids. But she's not with it. She's like, no, I don't think you should come. And I'm like, you don't want to see your husband? That's not weird. Like, I understand you're upset, right? But if you love someone, if you're so in love with someone, wouldn't you want to see them? Wouldn't you be happy that they're telling you that they're gonna come see you? Like, that's my thought in this whole thing. Is like, girl, you not happy to see your man? Like, do you got somebody on the side or something we need to know about? Like, I know she said she's Mormon, but like at the same time, like, what's going on here? You telling me you don't want none when y'all was sneaking into prisons and having baby or getting pregnant in prison closets and stuff? Now you don't miss him no kind of way. So I'm trying to figure out in this situation. She tells him he can come, but it's not for her, it's for the kids. And I'm like, okay, girl. And he's trying to get her, like I said, he's trying to get her to come back to Utah, but I don't know if it's gonna happen. Alright, over to Megan and Michael. Michael shows up to Megan's house and her dad answers the door. Like, I'm gonna just say this now. I'm here for Daddy in his conversation that he had with Michael, a man-to-man conversation. So basically, they're all sitting down, Megan, Michael, and Dad, and they have a convo about what's going on between Megan and Michael. And let's just say Dad is not here for the shits. He's not with it. Dad is basically on Michael's neck, and I'm here for it. I am. I'm really here for it. He says that he wants to put everything out on the table, and be honest with Megan. But I'm like, bro, how you gonna put everything on the table when last episode when you was going to see Megan, surprise her, you was on the phone with another woman that was not Megan, and that was not Sarah, the mother of your kids, your wife's soon-to-be ex-wife. It was neither one of those. So how you trying to talk about you gonna be honest with Megan? Dad is not playing with Michael. He asked him about his wife, Megan being his side chick. He is like basically asking him, everything. And Dad, he doesn't like the answers that Michael is giving him, and he's not happy with the situation at all. So he basically tells Megan that she needs to be careful and she needs to keep her eyes open. And she tells him that she may keep her eyes open. And he's like, how? You getting played. So how have you been keeping your eyes open? How? And I'm like, yeah, girl, like, come on now. You are not blind to you are blind to Michael's bullshit. It's like she sees Michael through rose-colored glasses, and like she doesn't see the manipulator that Michael is. So Dad, he basically told her that he's flat out said, I don't think you should be with him. I think you should find somebody that doesn't have any baggage, that doesn't have any kids, and move on with your life. And of course, she's making excuses for Michael as always, and I don't understand it for the life of me. And sometimes I just want to strangle Megan. I mean, I know you love who you love, but you done found out that y'all whole 2 years together was basically a lie. And then while y'all was supposed to be together, he's still sleeping with his wife. And you tell your dad that y'all been together for almost 3 years and he has a 4-month-old. Megan, wake the hell up. Please. Now. Today. Like, Megan, I just want to be like, Megan, just like shake the hell out of Megan. I just don't get it. So Dad was like, whatever. And he's like, but I'm going to tell you this, Michael, I'm watching you. I have friends in corrections. I have friends here. I have friends law enforcement. He was like, I'm watching you. And he was like, that one right there, that's my baby. I would take a bullet for her. And I will also give out bullets too. So Dad's basically letting Michael know, don't play with my baby. But, of course, Michael is Michael. And Michael's going to do what Michael wants to do. Marcelano decides to meet with a recruiter for a job interview. And the recruiter asks him, well, how much do you think you would want to start out with? This fool gonna say, I want to start out with $60,000 to $70,000 a year. Bro, you have not been working. You have no really employment. You haven't been working for 6 years. You don't have any marketable skills. You don't know anything about, the office suite, but you don't know how to use it extensively. So how in the world are you going to demand that you get paid $60,000 to $70,000 a year? Like, he just has this inflated value of himself. And the interviewer is like, what have you been doing for the last 6 years? And he tells him about him playing poker or whatever. And the recruiter is like, well, if you're such a good poker player, why are you here? And he tells him that, I have bills, I have a family, I got to do this, I got to do that. And the recruiter was basically he was like, how do I know that we can trust you? How do I know that if you hit it big in poker, you won't just leave one day and not come back? And I'm like, yeah, how does he know that? How does he know that you're committed to this job? And the guy was like, basically there was nothing that he could do with Marcelano at this point, because Marcelano doesn't have any marketable skills. He would not be an asset to the company. So, he told Marcelano to come back when he was more prepared, and he said okay. And he called Brittany and told Brittany that the interview went well. And I'm like, bro, where did that interview go well? Where? In your head? That's where it went well? Because I don't think that interview went well. Andrea and the kids are making posters for Lamar to come and visit. She says that she doesn't even want him in the room with him. She asked her son, can Lamar sleep in the room with him? And he's like, why can't he sleep in the room with you? And she was like, I don't want him in my bed. And I'm like, Andrea, you being so dramatic. That's your man. Like, y'all married. It's not like that's your boyfriend. Like, y'all legit married. So why are you acting like that? Why? But, whatever. Excuse me. Whatever. She's just doing too much for me right now. And, they go out to the airport and he's not showing up. And it seems like that he may have stood them up. I really hope he didn't stand them up. I hope he didn't. But, you know how these shows do. They show you something and they cut to commercial. And I just hope he didn't, because the kids' faces, like, they were just so distraught. So, when we come back from commercial, they are still waiting for Lamar. And it turns out he was just late. He didn't stand them up, thank God, because those kids were crying. And I could see the tears. And Andrea was looking for him too. Even though she tries to act so hard like she doesn't want him. She wants him. She knows she want that man. And they basically said, like, the kids basically said the same thing. Like, you know, you was looking for him. So, and she's already trying to give this man a cold shoulder. And she sees some Mormon missionaries. I don't know if this was set up or what, but when they were about to leave, they saw like a fleet of Mormon missionaries, and she was so excited about it. And she was saying that her son was going on a mission soon, and she basically wanted Lamar to see, you know, this. And she was saying like it was like a sign from God or an act of God that those missionaries were there, and that she was genuinely excited about it though. And you know, and she said maybe, you know, maybe he'll stay in Utah. And you know, they're still having this debate about Utah and LA when they get in the car. And Lamar was basically like, let's agree to disagree, because Andrea was giving him some good points about why Utah is better for them than LA. But he's just stuck on being in LA. She's stuck on being in Utah. They want to be together, but they cannot come to an agreement on what they should do. So he's like, let's just agree to disagree. And so he's still stuck in LA, stuck on LA, and she's still stuck on Utah. Whatever. Lacey is saying goodbye to her dad, and Shane sees that she is texting her friend, and in the texts that are coming through, they're talking about John. And you know, she tells him that he's being insecure about the situation. I'm like, no, you're wrong. Okay, you broke it off with John. You married Shane. So why are you still concerned with what John does? That's not your business anymore. Y'all not together anymore. Like, I understand you care about people, but at the same time, you have to respect your marriage. And Lacey is not respecting her marriage. He's upset, and rightfully so. I would be upset too. But I think the way he handled it totally wrong. And I just don't see how she doesn't see that she's wrong in this situation. I don't think he should have been throwing things and all of that. He got too upset about that, yes. And then you got the neighbors looking in and just being nosy as hell. But I just think like they could have handled it differently, but she's still wrong. She ends up leaving and saying that, you know, that they're done. And he's like, bro, how you just gonna leave and talk about we're broken up? We're married. You can't just walk out like that. And she's like, oh, she can change that, or that can change. And I'm like, if you felt like that, you should have never married him. Like, you could have stayed with John. You could have left this man alone. Like, you should not have married him. And then at the same time, he's young too. So it's like, and he's only 22, and he's fresh out of prison, you know, and you messing with this man's emotions and stuff. Like, it's just a crazy situation. She should see where he's coming from, and that could have been handled differently if she would have listened to her dad and talked to him about it. Like, and her friend told her to leave the whole situation alone. But you know, I guess she wants to do what she wants to do. Just crazy. So Sarah is talking to her friend, and she says she needs to get out of the house and that she's had it with Michael. Sorry. Michael basically, you know, Michael's a busy boy. Okay, so basically this is what's going down. Sarah is paying Michael's phone bill. Sarah has access to Michael's bank statements. But I'm like, if you guys are getting a divorce, why do you care what Michael does? The phone bill, I understand because she's paying the phone bill. I totally understand that. But at the same time, if you don't care, leave it alone. If it's only about your kids, leave it alone. So basically, she's gone through his phone bill, and she's seen all the women that he's calling that she's paying for, but he's not calling his kids. Bro, What about your kids? Like, come on. He's calling all these women, but he's not calling his kids. Like, come on, bro. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But then she says he's getting all these cash outs, not just from Megan, but from other women too. So all he's got, Michael got it going on, baby. He got women. He's calling all these women. He's talking to all these women. He got all these women sending him money through Cash App, and I think Sarah said he racked up in 1 month close to almost $2,000 from women giving him money, and he don't got to do nothing but sweet talk them. Bro, I'm doing the wrong thing. Like, I need to just, sweet talk some people and get me some money. If you racking up money just by talking to people or whatever, like, I don't know. But she says that she's done and she's not going to support him. She's not going to help him out anymore, and that he's not supporting the kids. But I feel like you knew that this is going to happen. Like, I feel bad for his kids, but at the same time, you made a decision to have a second child with him. Like, this whole situation is just crazy. It's a crazy situation, but Michael has been doing it up, and she says she's canceling the car insurance. She says she's cutting his phone off. She says she's canceling the health insurance, and she's doing this, and this. And I just say we shall see, because I don't think Sarah's going to do it. If she does it, I'll be surprised, because I think in a way she still wants Michael. She just wish he would commit to her. But when a woman's fed up, and a woman will do what she has to do when she's fed up. So, we'll see what Sarah decides to do. I just think Michael's a pimp. Michael got it going on. Michael is just out here living his best life, and he don't got to pay for none of it, because he got other people paying for it for him. And not taking care of his kids, according to Sarah. Angela is burning the rest of Tony's things, and as she is burning the rest of Tony's things and mourning the loss of her relationship, Tony walks up and he apologizes, and he says that he was thinking with the wrong head, and we all agree that he was thinking with the wrong head. And she asks him what is he going to do different, and he says that he's going to get help. And Angela was like, we've been through this before. You always say the same thing. So what are you going to do differently this time? And he's basically trying to, sweet talk her or whatever. But Angela's not budging. She says she don't know, if she loves him or willing to work on it. But I think that she loves him, and she may eventually take him back. But I hope not, because he's just using her, and the only reason why he wants to be there is because that's where he said he was going to be living while he was on parole, basically, and he don't got nowhere else to go. So he asked her where is he supposed to stay, and she was like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care where you stay at, but you can't stay here. You gotta go. You can't be here. And I'm like, yes, Angela. Oh, and she leaves him outside, and I'm like, yes, Angela. Don't deal with that. Let him stay where he at, and you do you. And he'll figure out his parole situation. That's not your problem. That's his problem, not yours. So that was basically it for this episode of Life After Lockup. And I thought I was going to see Clint. This episode, Clint and Tracy, but I guess maybe next episode. I hope so. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, if no one else tells you that they love you, remember Arsharae loves you. Bye.